Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is time to watch Cognitive Prime take on Team Snipe. This party's about to get started, DM.
That's right.
Subliminal messaging.
Cog Prime is going to be facing off against 4th seed Snipe. Neither team at this point really fighting for their lives, just for seeding. Still a week to go, too. Locked in pretty early.
Well, the one thing that's important to note as well, looking at the North American regional event, this is going to be 6 teams. So, depending on what the format is, it is very important to come out with the number 1 and number 2 spot. A lot can happen there.
That's right. Buys are important, and if we go into a 6-team bracket, it's going to be kind of hard for a team to have to fight an extra set. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah, that is a long time. Well, getting into the things, Apollo's going to be banned there from Snipe. Direct shot at Barracuda, even though he's been seeing a lot of success with Rom.
Bear Apollo. You got to get rid of it, man. The guy is a genius with the character. You can't let it rock.
Yeah, he's really, really good at that. And that's the best thing about watching professionals play is when they have those comfort picks, like with Lobster, with Agni. It's just so fun to watch him be so fluid.
All right, so Geb going to be banned out.
There you go.
Thank God.
Geb's.
Kind of tired of watching Geb kill everybody today. Bottom side, we're also going to see Mercury get banned out, which is curious to me. Now, with that, we saw Mercury get banned out as a first pick. Is that what happened?
Mercury?
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm saying like the first pick banned out Mercury after Geb was already gone. Yep. They could have banned anything else and forced Cog Prime to ban Mercury, giving themselves option. But nope, it looks like we're going to see, Raw get banned out as well. Option going to start over there with Snipe.
Yeah, and Snipe. The decisions they have, there's Freya on board. We've seen how dominating she can be in general, so we could see the Freya get picked as well, and it looks like Freya is going to be it, so that could be, we could see the Hunter Freya. Most likely, we're probably going to see her go into the jungle.
That's right. In this case, checks towards the right side. Cognitive Prime going to get Nemesis and Athena here. A little curious to lock in Athena so early. Nemesis is going to be grabbed here, which is a great position for her because Zhang Kui was not banned out.
Yeah, and no one's going to pick Zhang Kui into Nemesis ever. And that's really what's going to happen here. So option over to the Snipe. They got a couple things here. They could look for their support, but it is imperative to note that Kukulkan in this patch is not nerfed. So seeing him get locked in here, that's going to be a lot of dot damage. The Whirlwind's blocking everything off. And as always, the Spirits of the Nine Winds does a lot of damages.
Ooh, there's Kumbhakarna almost hovering on Sobek there, letting Bacchus go. Very curious. Remember, though, Snipe has a different lineup now. Jerby has been benched.
Oh, that's so important. I always forget
Painivion
about that.
has an amazing Kumbhakarna. I would say probably top 3, top 1 and top 2 both going to Dirgius.
Yeah, so Incon actually going to go for a little bit of a comfort pick here. And, you know, Incon going from a Guardian into the role of mid, for most people would be very difficult, but he is very, very seasoned in the mid lane.
Right.
And that's going to go ahead and be a Thor ban. Option over to Snipe, as we're going to see the final one here, Neath.
Neath getting banned out from Cog Prime, taking away 2 characters. But, I mean, Ullr's still on the table. There's still Artemis, and Freya was picked up already. But Barracuda is definitely getting some shots taken at him.
Yeah. So it looks like that is going to be Ullr as well. He's going to be hovered on right now, which is going to be big. He can do... You know, Ullr's one of those gods who sees some success, but for the most part, no one really looks at him in the professional scene.
Next week, I think, when we get into the new patch, when we start seeing like the charge bow, Xbalanque might make a comeback. I think I'm going to make that call.
Xbalanque
might.
You're going to go ahead and do that.
I think it might happen. On her, getting put onto the screen there. I still see.
Yeah, he was on the screen. Yeah,
I'm not really sure
I'm
what
not
the
sure
actual.
really where he
Maybe
went
that was
either.
the left side actually, as they don't have a hunter yet. Could have been Freya. That blank spot might have been it, and it seems that we're going to see Chalk as well.
Chalk, I'm surprised we don't see more play out of Chalk.
Yep.
Chalk in the solo lane, he is built solely to counter build his opposition. He's going to see success no matter what.
He always has lane clear with Thunderstrike. Amazing CC potential at endgame with a giant silence. Not to mention he can heal himself, block shots. Ooh.
Yes.
Not yes.
Yes.
I I have not seen her used successfully. When I mean successfully, I mean not carried. I have not seen her played to the point where I thought to myself, this pick was better than any other pick, and only Arachne in this situation could have done what Arachne did.
Okay.
Whereas
I can see that.
we see Freya's like, Freya made that play. Nemesis made that play. Thor made that game. We don't say to ourselves, Arachne made that play all too much.
But, in all fairness, the only time we've seen Arachne in the SPL has been in a solo lane with Xing, in which case was yesterday where they lost the game.
Real quick. Snipe had first pick here, right?
Yeah.
So Freya gets locked in for Incon, no issue. But then Pain de Vion and Weaken picked. And Pain de Vion was the one who picked Kukulkan, and Weaken was the one who picked Kumbhakarna. Now, maybe I'm overthinking this here, but if you're going to be picking a support and your support's in picking phase, why wouldn't the support player pick the support god? Does this mean that we're going to see a larger turnaround and that Pain de Vion might be going mid?
No.
It's possible.
I mean, with Kukulkan, maybe it's possible just because that's like.
Well, Pain started out as a hunter.
Did he really?
He started out as a hunter on the team that actually Pompon played on, along with Jeff Hinla. And they saw a decent amount of success. And with that, Pain de Vion was actually the one who introduced Freya to the duo lane, who was using her effectively as a hunter. Looking at the team switching, no, Pain de Vion did actually grab Kumbhakarna. Incon right now has Kukulkan. Looks like Arachne's on Weaken. Kiki has Guan Yu, and Freya has Allied. So it looks like everything's going to be pretty normal. My theory crafting did not work. They were just sloppy in the picking phase. Slop.
Weaken has been playing a lot of Arachne here off the rip. And
right.
he doesn't start off with Venomous Bite. He actually starts off with his 3. He throws down the web, and he throws the web over in the back harpies on the right side, and he has his support hit that. So his support basically hits level 2 by the time he goes into lane.
I like that. Using them effectively, and if you can actually set up probably 3 and then back and get your mana back, or use Bumba's Mask, I think that's very, very smart. That'll give him enough time to kind of... wait, how many? Can you set up 3 or can you set up 2?
I think it's 3.
Is it 2? Can we check? Oh, I can check. Hold on.
Yeah,
she is pretty new,
check.
so we're still getting it. You can only have 2 walls active at a time. Okay, so we'll probably see 1 at the blue buff, 1 at the back harpies.
Yep.
I think that's
blue
smart.
buff and back harpies, and then he's going to go ahead and rotate over there, and then
see, Gandhi here missed old Arachne, where she could place 5 eggs down at once at level 1, and you put them in 5 different camps, and you just say, you do this one with Hand of the Gods, you do this one, I'll take this one, and hey, I'm level 4, and we're 15 seconds into the game.
That sounds like self-inflicting pain on a Sunday.
Awesome.
That's awful.
The greatest
Of course you loved it. You're like, oh well, I'm good now. Let me adjust my tie.
It's a lot easier to win games when you're 3 levels ahead of everyone else.
Yeah. When and when your team gets a buff with no problem, it's like, oh, I didn't need any help from anyone here. This is going perfect.
You're splitting experience of gold. It's wonderful. Everyone gets a good amount, getting about 2/3 through their level. It's beautiful.
Here's the thing, right? So when I was talking to Weaken as well about Arachne, because I talk a decent amount with the Weaken a lot, just because, wanted to get a jungler mindset, and he's a nice guy. He was basically like, pros are afraid to bring Arachne into the SPL because there's very few times where you're able to get Arachne in the spots where she shines, which is the one-on-ones. Right? And so everyone's kind of been afraid.
Boxing.
Everyone's been afraid. But he said, if I do bring her in there, it's because I feel like I can get the jump on them very early. So he's probably going to have to aggress. But the problem is what do you then build with Arachne so she actually is that useful?
It's hard to say. I mean, you're definitely going to want attack speed. You definitely you got to get burst damage in there at some point, but I'm kind of interested to see what Weaken's going to go for here. We don't get to see her all too much. He is probably most notably the best Arachne player currently in the circuit, so I guess we'll find out as we get into the game.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and meet our teams here. We have Team Snipe taking on Cognitive Prime. As you take a look on the left side here, Incon is going to be in the mid lane here, 442 gold per minute, and 463 there for Kiki or Na. On the right side, Cog Prime, Jeff Hinla, the Canadian, 187 assists for Jeff Hinla. And I wish there was a stat, and I always hate doing this. I wish there was a stat for steals.
Yeah, I wish there was a stats for most Canadian support, which would be Jeff.
Yeah, no, definitely. He actually wears a Canadian flag shirt every time he plays. Yeah,
he does.
It's a cutoff sleeve, and it's actually in plaid.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He actually dropped out of Mountie school to play Smite professionally.
Really?
Yeah, he was going to be a Mountie. Pretty interesting. Let's take a look at what God Jeff will be playing, as well as everyone else. It looks like he's going to be playing Athena today. You're going to see MLC Stealth picking up Nua again. And then, of course, Barracuda has grabbed on her character with great success. But the big story on this team here, to me, is the Vamana. One of the most notable Vamana players in the entire world. Omega had a very, very strong showing in multiple LAN events with this character, most notably his 22-2 performance at PAX Prime last year.
Now, as you can tell, Weekend has not played this Arachne in the SPL. In fact, Arachne has a 0 win percent because she's only been played in one game, and that was by Shing, and that ended up being a loss. So it is time to see, will the bug get some love?
You know, it's so funny because Incon and Allied are like the nicest dudes, and they both look so just like angry
hard
in that picture.
Hard bodies, like
Allied has
mobsters.
those eyebrows, like do something.
I pity the fool because
I can't even make those eyebrows.
You look like a mean version of Grumpy Cat.
Oh, what does that even mean? My lord, we're in the game! Blue team versus red team. This is going to, of course, be Snipe and Cog Prime, respectively. Now, remember, these teams are basically locked in at this point. What they're doing is they're fighting for seed. The top 2 seeds will not only receive buys in the round 1 of their LAN event, but will also have the option to not have to fight each other. And that's important because nobody wants to fight Cog Red.
Now, as we take a look at the starting here, Kiki going to go for the Smithy's Hammer just to get a little bit of health and the physical protection. But Weekend, in case you guys are looking to see how he starts off in his jungle, actually goes with the Bumba's Mask and Boots.
Which is curious. Normally, you're going to want Hand 2 because it increases your jungle clear, but she doesn't really need that. She has the egg walls to help her out. Or spider web walls, what do we call them? They used to be eggs, now they're webs. It's very confusing.
And as well, ladies and gentlemen, in case you want to get it from the pro player's perspective, Incon is going to be streaming this game as well, so you can go and check it out, his stream, and give him some love and really see how the communication works from Snipe with this new roster.
That's right. He'll be playing your mid lane for Snipe. Check it out. All right, so Weekend has opted into the wall at the mid camps and the wall on the bottom side blue, which means we are not going to see an invade coming out, which is strange because of how much control she has. It looks like everyone's going to play their normal route here. Only difference is Pain and Allied have opted into the small camp.
Yeah, which is what I'm not so certain about, just because Weekend has been such an advocate of pushing and just helping them out with the small camps as well with the web.
That's right. Right side, they're actually going to get... Wow, they cleaned that up pretty quick. Right side, she still has Hand of the Gods available to her. She'll pull it right through Hand of the Gods, pull it right through the web. You know, I don't see the web helping all that much there.
No.
That did not add a lot.
So I watched him play from the Chaos side, and this is kind of where he was giving it to me. He put it in the back Harpies behind red, so the support could actually then get level 2 by the time he hit lane. That was like the whole point of it. But I guess on the order side of things, he's not really familiar or not sure what he should do.
Left side, I'm looking at it very smart. Barracuda and Jeff Hindler recognized how they were going to start it and decided not to push. And it looks like Allied and Pain are going to lose 4 creeps in the overall just for that small camp. Don't know if that's worth.
Well, time to see how Onher does in North America here. Keep in mind, he's not really he's not played that often at all.
I love that level up sound. From
Dude,
Freya?
Pixel Buster Freya is the best. Oh my, Annons are coming behind enemy lines. Pain's going to be here as well. He's got a little bit of mesmerized there. Will the taunt hit?
Tiny metal. Ooh, not enough damage. She still had Sleepy online as well. They weren't going to be able to pick that one off. A huge grouping here. Strange 4v3, 4v4 now. Not going to gain anything. In fact, given the fact that they spent so much time trying to aggress on the enemy side, you have to assume that a very small advantage right there is given to Snipe.
Weekend's going to be able to just shred through this speed buff here, as he's going to be missing out on a little bit of experience in gold from Incon.
What is he doing?
They are super aggressive. I think last night they kind of found their
running
old rhythm.
Are they like running a pool to see what person can get first blood first? Like
I think so. I actually think that's a thing that people do. I'm not sure if there's anyone who bets on it, but I'm pretty sure that would be a thing.
Omegatron actually in some trouble here. Kiki doing some damage, but he hits level 5. Look at
Pain might go down as well. Barracuda's going to send him into the wall. Jeff Hinla going to be moving him out as well.
Sleepy's still
going to
online.
block that as well, so no first blood there. Really, as aggressive as this has been, all eyes on the 3:15 mark here on the game clock, because when those mid-harpies come up, I'm expecting them to go all in.
Pain needs to back.
Yeah.
He needs to back basically right now. Use the throwback and then just hit that B button. And it looks like he's going to stick around trying to keep himself in the game here. But Jeff has so much more control because of how much health he has.
And you can just kind of tell. I mean, look at Cog. Cog's going to go back. They're going to buy Stealth, and Anitzer are going to buy, and then they're going to head straight back for the Harpies here. And Pain, finally, he's going to be able to level up, or his health is going to raise just a little bit there, but he's not. What kind of pressure is he really going to be able to put on these Harpies?
Both of them are pretty late. I mean, I
they're
kind
all
of expected a rotation coming out either way. Right side, more pressure coming through is Kiki using Hand of the Gods, but is not able to keep up with the clear from Omega, both of whom have a lot of defense to their name. 200 health coming out from Omega, and then, of course, 250 health and 25 physical protection coming out from Kiki. You would expect Kiki to get the upper hand, but he hasn't. Cog Prime takes the left camp. Right camp is up for contest.
And it looks like we're just going to see Cog Prime take that one as well. Snipe really not in any kind of a hurry to get either of those camps. Everyone just kind of staying in their respective lane. Now, I know the minimap's a little bit deceiving here when you go and look at the solo lane, because you can see Omega and Guan Yu just kind of go back and forth, but these guys aren't going to die for a long time unless a gank happens.
Oh, bottom side, Incon? Nope. I thought he was going to try to push up there. I'm very surprised to see him not using that Spirit of the Nine Winds to throw over into the mid camp on the right side. I really expected him to go for the steal there. It was almost guaranteed, but he didn't go for it. Very curious to me. Left side, Allied still trading blows with Barracuda, who is starting to run low on mana. In-hand gold right now, we're going to see Barracuda at 1,400, which means those dev gloves are done.
Dev gloves are going to be up on the line, and now the big thing here is that Allied is going to have a blue buff here readily available if they want to go back, but he's going to go ahead and push his wave. He might head back as well. In hand, he's looking at 1,300 right now as it stands, so he could maybe rush the haste, and it's not going to be online for some time, though.
He's getting close to it. Only needs a little bit more gold. Yeah. And once he gets it, man, the boxing potential is outrageous. Right side, kind of an invade going. Are they going to try to rush this down? Kiki, Horse already used. Weekend forced away as well on the left side. Incon rotated down, possibly going to split this blue camp, which is going to put Kiki a little bit behind.
And Freya actually coming for the rotation as well. Allied in Pain. Stealth's going to be here. Could be some damage there, but Pain not worried about anything at all. And I think that's why we're starting to see Guan Yu get played a lot more in the SPL, is just because of how safe he is in lane.
Yeah.
I really do.
Not to mention, I mean, late game too, if he gets ahead because of how safe he can be, he's unkillable. It's what we saw from Omega not too long ago with a huge win over Cog Prime. He just wasn't touchable.
Yeah, and now he's sitting on roughly $2 grand in hand. So he could go with boots. He could go for a heavy hammer as well.
I think he'll go boots. I think he's going to wait about 150. Oh no!
Oh, you are. Backs. You could. Wow.
This is the opposite of boots.
That is the complete opposite of boots. That is Heartseeker. So he is looking to throw down the damage, but I'm not sure if he paid attention to what Omega was building, because Omega actually built the smithies after the heavy hammer as well as boots 1 to kind of mitigate as much damage as possible.
Omega's going for the MOBA build. You build a bunch of little things. Yep. You don't max your items out. Smithy's Hammer online, Heavy Hammer online, Boots 1. No sprint just yet, and strangely no Fatalis either. Just kind of going for more of a tanky build. Right side, he doesn't really have much to worry about. At this point, is just trying to stop Kiki from getting stacks, but it's going to be hard. I mean, he puts out a lot of damage.
I don't know how he answers this. The experience is just a little bit of difference here as we take a look at the charge. 444 gold in favor of Cog, as well as 1,200 experience. As Kiki, you can kind of see he's gonna hurt the baby, but in the baby's back pocket, he's got Colossal Fury.
Right side camp being contested here. Nice wall coming out from Weekend, forcing Jeff Hinla away. It's blinking. It looks like this one's going to go to Snipe for free. Left camp went to, of course, Cognitive Prime. Overall, split evenly as Barracuda continues to pressure Allied and his weakness in pushing. Allied level 8 right now, whereas Barracuda already level 9.
Wow.
And he's been 9 for a bit, whereas Allied actually just procced it to 8. In fact, looking at it, Allied's at 487 experience a minute. We're taking a look at Barracuda at 650, has almost 200 more.
Yeah, I mean, at least for Allied, he does have Pulse, which is going to be very, very big for him in lane. He has elected to go with the Hasten Fatalis as well. So the good thing about Freya as a hunter is she just stays in lane and she just continues to farm up.
Barracuda did not miss a single point of gold after that back huge. Jeff Hindla could be the victim of first blood. He's coming down here. Yes, Jeff Hindla will go down, and that's going to put a board on the side of Snipe.
This is a very, very slow game. 7:25 first blood. Traditionally in North America, we kind of see it right around the 3-minute mark. That first Harpies is kind of where the first blood always happens, but unfortunately, no dice there. Snipe on the board first. Here comes the web. And Inter has no problem getting out of that. Nemesis, you know, she's got the dash for a reason.
Ooh, beautiful shield coming out from Andy right now. Actually reflecting most of the damage back onto Jeff, or rather Incontinentia. Incon mid laner doing pretty well, but you can tell there's weakness in this. He's playing very passively, very slow, not going for opportunities we would see players like the Boosh or players like Captain Twig go for. Left side, Allied taking some pot shots here. Not really sure why they decided to disengage. Pulse wasn't doing nearly enough damage to Jeff Hindla. Barracuda could have counter-initiated there beautifully.
And I want to see how Weekend approaches this long lane. I want to see how it happens, because that's going to be a huge gank for Arachne. I mean, he's 1-0 right now, which is the only kill, obviously, on the board. Taking a look at the player damage, he's only done 873. His experience a minute is around 489. So, looking at it, all things considered, he's going to be working on Jotuns, it looks like, as well. So, he needs to make that early advantage as much as possible.
Payne trying to rotate over, seeing if they're going for it. He'll spot them and recognize that they're not level 8 right now. Doing a good job after that kill that he was able to help his team secure it. 4,400. Taking a look at Jeff Hindla, 43, so not too far ahead. The first blood, of course, did go to Weekend, now sitting almost 5,000 gold, but he's not really too far ahead of Andy or Barracuda, given the fact that he has great early jungle clear, especially compared to Nemesis, and the fact that he got first blood. He should be farther ahead.
Well, Omega's going to go ahead and spot the fact and say, Kiki, hey, you got a blue? I do as well. You're tanky, so am I. You got tier 2 boots on, and I'm curious as to how much his Heartseeker has been stacked at this point.
We can do the math on that if you'd like.
Nope. I heard math, and I'm out. I'm outie. I'm out. Well, right, Harpies are getting ready to come up. Weekend's going to be here. Surprised to see his web's not actually cutting off that at all. And is he going to be able to go on this? Nope.
Kiki might be forced into his ultimate here. Dashes away, turns around. Omega actually getting a little bit flustered. Might thought that there was a turnaround there happening, but there wasn't. Both mid-camps right there this time actually going to go the way of Cog.
And Weekend, a slice and dice there, is going to do a quarter of his health. The strength of Nemesis is online. You can kind of see he's a full level ahead of Weekend. That's kind of the thing right now with Arachne, right?
Yeah.
Well, hasn't been able to get in lane.
Speaking of Jotuns, you said for Weekend, we're also seeing that come out from Andy as well. Both of them looking for that cooldown reduction.
No, it makes sense. You want as many slice and dices as humanly possible on Nemesis.
Level 10 right now, Weekend trying to catch up to Andy, but Cog just has the better rush. We're also going to see that in the mid lane. Spirit of the Nine Winds will come out, completely whiff, and a kill answered after first blood in favor of Cog, who take the lead back in the flavor of 600 gold to 2,800 experience.
And Payne barely missing that. Jeff Hindla trying to charge this up. He's looking for a taunt. He's not going to find one here, as Weekend's just going to be lurking around like a traditional spider, just hiding behind a wall, waiting to scare the hell out of you. Hate spiders.
Left side, more pressure coming through. Allied is completely locked under his tower, but he's going to start coming online soon. In-hand gold, about 1,300, about 300 away from finishing up those Shoes of the Magi. Once he gets those, the damage is going to start swinging. His wave clear will be perfect, and then he'll be able to start boxing Barracuda. For now, Barra still has the line.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to
stealth forced up into the air. Payne de Vion's going to have an opportunity for the epic uppercut. Actually beautifully uses the mighty yawn there, but Andy actually come and deters. Nice rotation coming out from everyone on Cognitive. A 4-man rotation will save the life of MLC Stealth once again.
Well, Weekend showing why Nightcrawler is such a very dominant move. He was in a terrible position. He was able to ultimate and get completely out of there, which means they weren't able to get a kill, as Kiki's just going to go back and shred through. But speaking back on the Allied versus Kuda, I don't know. He's 2 full levels behind Barracuda, which is going to be tough. But on the same side, on her, as we all know, and he kind of falls off later on as the game progresses, whereas Freya's going to continue to get stronger. We do have a rotation. Pain's going to be coming from behind Barracuda.
Barra has some options here. Still has his jump turnaround. Probably going to see a Desert Fury soon. No, uses the level 1 beads. To answer your question before, the Heartseeker now, of course, is fully stacked for Kiki as he is sitting on 75 physical power. Of course, on top of Cursed Blade and Smithy's Hammer, giving him a lot of protections as well, to the tune of about 55, 250 health, as well as movement speed and attack speed coming out. A very potent build.
Yep, uncommon sash being built by MLC Stealth. Most likely going to be a Warlock sash. Wants as much stacking as seemingly possible. On the other side, Incon going... Is he looking to get an early Book of Thoth?
It
could be a Soul
Reaver.
No,
more than likely going to be Book of Thoth, scooping that with the Kukulkan passive as well. 800 gold in hand still puts him about 1,000 away.
And they're going to lose these Harpies again. Cog doing an excellent job working together as a unit to secure all the objectives. We haven't seen anything on anything. And taking a look at the charts here, oh my god, it is all about Cog.
It's 1,000 gold, actually getting closer to almost 1,100 at this point, as well as 4,000 experience, despite there only being 1 kill on each side.
Right? Well, that's the thing. Cog does an amazing job at farming up. They're consistent. They were the #1 team in the world for a long time for a reason.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Kiki actually dealing some damage out over in the right side. Omega being forced out. Mid lane, Incon just playing Kukulkan. You know, normal stuff.
Yep. Hanging out, throwing down whirlwinds, being a nuisance, and this is a huge rotation. Jeff Hindley's going to be there. They have to see this. They're going to get out of here, but this could result potentially in at least a forced Gold Fury fight, which Cog definitely wants. The advantages in their side. They want to just catch someone just sleeping in the jungle.
They back off it. It looks like they're going to take the safe route. Blue buff going to be taken up as the jungler actually rotates into mid lane. Andy following MLC Stealth as they push forward. Andy really not having a presence onto Kukulkan like you would imagine. There really isn't a big target for him to go for.
Here comes Weekend. Weekend's going to be spotted. Slice and dice.
Wow!
Oh my Andinster. And Weekend's going to be able to barely get out of that. Wow, Andinster doing a lot of damage.
Left side, Barra forced away using the Athena ult. That's going to push Barra back to the base. Allied finally coming online. In trouble as well. Mighty Yawn. No, Slice and Dice going to hit. One shot's going to do it. Andy with a beautiful rotation. We don't understand why he just used his beads. That was weird.
That's what's so scary about Nemesis, right? You get speed on her hands. You give her 2 dashes as well. Slice and Dice just hurting you so bad. You can't get away from her.
Gandhi. This is going to be a rush in. Barracuda is coming back down here, tanking it up. Looks like they might reset. Andy going for it here. Kukulkan taking a lot of damage. You see Incon's health getting very low. Spirit of the Nine Winds going to miss completely.
Missed everyone.
He's going to go down. Next up, Pain de Beyond using the last bit of his mana. Omega should have a line to this one. Knock up. No, he actually cancels it early. Just will deal with the sleeping now as well. Kiki on the bottom side going to be forced over. No problem. Weekend has given up and gone for the speed buff. Free Gold Fury for the guys on Cog, extending their lead to 3,700 gold.
Well, Kiki trying to box us out. He knows Colossal Fury's down, but it wasn't going to happen. Weekend, you're in trouble, buddy. Nightcrawler's able to get out. So we've seen that Arachne, super safe.
Do you hate that move so much? It's the creepiest thing I've ever seen.
I loathe it. I hate spiders, man. I hate spiders.
You should have seen me play Dark Souls 2. Oh my god, I almost had a panic attack.
Dude, I know which part you're talking about. When you're running around the webs.
God, I'm going to kill myself.
I hate that.
Ghiblis all over.
It's not even so...
she's so creepy, and she's like climbing on this weird ethereal web.
I just hate how Arachne sounds when she's walking, because I picture a big spider like in Lord of the Rings. Oh, it's the worst. It's the absolute worst, man.
Oh, man. Well, 4-1. Cognitive has a pretty demanding lead now, actually getting the mid-camps as well, extending their lead up to about 4,200 gold, 8,000 experience. Barracuda and Omega are the characters that are farthest ahead, and you never want to see Omega in the lead. Now, actually going into Ancient Blade. More than likely will be a Fatalis, but he has built Sprint, so this could be a Witchblade. Unlikely to be Ancient Blade. I'm sorry, Adventurer's Blade, but either way, a lot of defense. There's a lot of health in these builds. There's a lot of mobility as well, and then, of course, Heavy Hammer for AoE slows. And
then as we take a look, I mean, MLC Stealth, he's got the Warlock Sash online as well. Hold that thought as Jeff Hindley's going to be going in, trying to get it. And, wow. Andy choosing to ult there on Pain, just kind of wasting it there, looking for the follow-up, wasn't able to do it, but we have 2 balanced blades here coming out. for Anster and Barracuda.
More than likely, we're going to see an Executioner from Barra. Chin's coming out, of course, from Andy. And speaking of builds, Incon has enough finally to build that Book of Thoth. This will likely be his last wave before he backs. Got to get that book online to get those stacks going.
Is that the kind of the worrisome thing about picking a Nemesis, is that it's a lot of gold to really get her online?
Yeah, well, same thing for characters like Kali. Before Chins are online, it's hard for them to be competitive, although Nemesis definitely has a better early game, being able to use her ultimate more effectively, and then with Jotuns is so strong. Pain taking a lot of damage here. Nice yawn. Throwback going to send him out there, but MLC rotates, gets a beautiful stun. Pain's in a lot of trouble here, a lot more than I previously expected. Does MLC have an ultimate? Yes, he does. Is he going up? Not just... Oh, yeah. He didn't quite get the damage,
He got out of there with about 10 health. Allied forced the Valkyrie's discretion, trying to throw it down. Incon's there for the rotation as well. Does he have his ultimate? He's looking for it. Allied and Jeff Hindley's going to be able to get out of there as well.
Incon choked on that one, man. I love the guy. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
He needed to rip that ult.
That was a choke. Where was the ultimate? Jeff actually walked back through the tornado. There was a very limited path he could take without putting himself at risk of death. It should have been covered by the ultimate, and I think the weakness in Incontinentia's mid lane role was shown right there. He doesn't have confidence.
And as we take a look at Solo here, actually, hold the phone just a little bit.
Stupid, creepy ethereal web.
But at least he's safe, right? He's never going to give up any kills. But as we take a look over here at Omega versus Kiki, you can see Omega. He's got Runeforged Hammer, and now he's working on Curse Blade as well. Kiki on the other side, the Heartseeker into the Witchblade. You can see that Omega is just a little bit better.
And he's going for it. Andy's in there. We're going to force out the Cavalry Charge. Omega's going to let that one go. That will be a free Tier 1. Barracuda on the left side, outboxing Allied front to back as you see him sitting at full health. That's going to be a Tier 1 there as well. 1,000 gold will be added, even though they shouldn't have been able to push 2 Tier 2s at once. Barracuda with a brilliant play is going to put up some serious damage.
Well, they're looking for it here just
a
little bit.
Are they still going?
They might still be going. This is a 4-man stacking. Keep in mind, by the way, if you're wondering what happened in the Allied versus Barracuda, it's simple. Allied's down by 3 levels.
That's right. Level 18 Barracuda right now. Second highest in the game. Hunter, one of the highest farms as well. Only 300 gold behind Omega. And taking a look at Allied, he actually has a almost 2,500 gold advantage just over Allied. Now remember, and I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure that Allied at this point is undefeated with Freya.
Is he?
We'll wait on production for the call on that one.
But
Allied is 3-0. That might not last through this game, as Allied 2,500 gold down, as well as 3 levels doesn't. Oh, and he's forced into Curse Blade. You hate to see these kinds of things happen.
You almost want... If I was his teammates, I would almost say, look, don't even worry about the Curse Blade, dude. Just get Demonic Grip online as soon as possible. We need your damage.
Right, as fast as possible. And it's going to be the opposite. He'll gain some attack speed here, but it's not going to be nearly enough to change things.
Now, this is going to be a Chins coming out from Weaken as well. Weaken, he got first blood, but from there, he has completely fallen off. As you take a look at the player damage, he's only done 3,000.
Yeah, 1,300 behind Andenser, as well as 3 levels as well. We're starting to see the level 19s come out. Barra and Omega both getting dangerously close to their maximum levels. Omega becomes an absolute monster. That means his scaling is maxed. And as soon as he hits 20, if I were him, I'd be calling for fights, because that is the absolute strongest he will be.
And on top of that, he does have Witchblade as well. Not to mention max sprint, but we do have the fight. Omega's just going to erase Arachne. Sorry, Spider, there is no Nightcrawler available because you were already dead. Now it is time to see if Snipe is going to hit this rotation. Are they going to contest this? You have Omega zoning them, and Omega can almost probably 1v2 the majority of them here. Pain might get caught.
He got forced out completely. Can Kiki get in there?
Look at this!
No.
Look at Omega. Incon, I see what you did there, you sly fox. Omega's just going to be able to take out one.
That's a good trade to me.
Yeah, that's a perfect trade.
He's a little bit higher level, sure, but they got the Gold Fury off it. They forced Pain into a bad spot. Epic uppercut. Actually, yeah, he tried to use it to force himself. It doesn't quite work like that, Andy, but I respect the attempt. That's going to be a sleepy bait. Rocked it down. Barra over the wall. Huge stun onto Allied. There's nowhere to go. Moving Aegis trying to keep him up. Into the Valkyrie's discretion he goes. Can he keep him alive? There comes MLC Stealth picking up the kill in the backline. Andy getting very low. Dashing away at the last shot. No health remaining, and Kiki gets baited.
He gets impaled into the wall as well. And now here comes the Spider.
She's back.
I can't really do anything here. She can't initiate.
They got to keep going here.
Any one-on-ones. They're going to continue to push this.
No,
they have the Gold Fury. I'm not
I
sure
guess
why.
they saw Incom was coming up, Pain's coming up. They're going to clear out some jungle, I guess, set up for Fire Giant. Even so, a huge push right there puts them over 10,000 gold and 17,500 experience. Two highest levels right now are 17 on the side of Snipe, whereas Jeff Hinla is the only person 17 or under on the side of Cog.
So here's the thing that's going to be very difficult for Arachne is that he just got Executioners online, but he has to basically bait his team in order to grab one player by themselves, which is going to be very difficult. The only time I can really see that even happening is going to be over at the Fire Giant fight, which he has to position himself for. And then even then, he still has to wait on his team and hope to God that they stay alive.
Looking at the score here, 2-10. Pain of Yonda forced to use Smite Yonda to put the baby to sleep. Apparently, it was nap time, and the cranky baby gets put to bed.
Yeah, that baby is super pissed off.
Yeah, little cranky baby. Look at that build. That's a cranky baby build.
Yeah!
Balance blade coming out. That could be Executioner, or that can be Chin Size, both of which do a ridiculous amount of damage.
Look at Pain get shredded. Wow.
Oh my God.
My God,
used
Andy.
Defensively. They hard target switch right back to the carries. Spirit of the Nine Winds will do some damage, but not a lot as Jeff tries to create some space. Incon likely going to go down here. Shouldn't have turned around. That was a bad call. He's going to die. It's all about Omega trying to stay alive here. Clear the path will get him.
Brilliant
beautiful
taunt.
Escape route. Here comes Barra.
Yep, Desert Fury is going to be doing copious amounts of damage. Down goes Allied.
Bang.
The last one here, and Annenser's going to get that. That's going to be a Fire Giant, as Pain's going to be the last one there. Now, the only thing that I dislike about Omega's build is that he doesn't have Haste and Fatalis. Because in that fight, if he has that, he basically can't get pulled off of anyone.
He has sprint. He used it for a while. After the 6 seconds, Incon started to peel away. I think Incon didn't realize that the sprint was over, which is why he turned around. Eventually, he would have been... Oh!
Wow.
Okay. 23 minutes, 48 seconds, 2-14. Snipe decides to cut their losses on that one, as the new roster does not hold a candle to Cognitive Prime's absolute domination of that game.
Wow. Snipe realizing that they can't answer the call of Cognitive Prime. Cognitive Prime on a humongous heater right now. As we take a look at the player damage, which is really going to tell it all. Weaken only doing 4,000. On the other side, 12,000 for Andenster, 13,000 for Omega, and 13,000, almost 14 for MLC Stealth. Which is crazy because Annenster was just getting to that point where he was like, okay, I am going to be an absolute beast.
So, after the level of destruction that Cog Prime puts down, our next game we're going to check in with their sister team, Cognitive Red, as they go up against the Ratchet Boys on Thirst.
Which is, that's going to be, that one's almost a little bit lopsided for them, but we have seen Cog Red actually come in a little bit overconfident in these past couple of games where it's like, what are you doing, Divios? Why are you diving with Fenrir into Tier 2s, all right, man? Can you just tone it down a notch?
Still winning most games, yeah.
Well, that's the most important part, is still winning, right?
The W is a W.
Yeah, that game, are you surprised Snipe kind of just GG'd like that?
No, not really.
Yeah, I'm not either.
They're a pretty emotional team, looking at Pain, looking at Allied. Haven't had too much experience with Weaken, but I'm looking at the structure damage here. Not a single hit to a single tower coming out from anyone on Snipe.
That traditionally means that you got devoured.
So I want to look at a replay here. We're going to check in with the top damage and the 405 beautiful play coming out from MLC Stealth. You're going to see a great ult to secure the kill onto Allied, and then, of course, just watch it.
Well, you can just notice the positioning and everything. I mean, he's just
where
waiting.
You going,
Valkyrie's
buddy?
discretion and perfect timing. There's going to be one. Turns around. He's going to go ahead and get impaled into the wall here in a second as well by Barracuda. You can just see that, and then that is just routine kill for MLC Stealth. And that's the thing. Unheard now probably up to like a 78 win %, man. He is no slouch.
He's not stoppable today.
Yeah, he seems to be the winner. So coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have Cognitive Red play, so make sure you stay tuned.